Disclosure petition to the Rockefeller Initiative will be submitted to the White House on the morning of February 23. That evening PRG Executive Director Stephen Bassett will appear on Coast to Coast AM, February 23, 10 to 11 p.m. PST. To discuss with George Neary why the disclosure petition process underway at We the People could represent a breakthrough in the truth movement. The petition will have 30 days until March 23, to acquire 25,000 signatures and force a second response from the Obama administration. Anyone from any nation will be able to sign this petition.
We have 30 days from February 23rd to get 25,000 signatures on this second petition. They raised the bar to 25,000, was 5. If we get those 25,000, the White House will have to respond to this petition. Now, what is this petition? That's where it gets interesting. It's called Disclosure Petition 2, the Rockefeller Initiative. I think very few of your listeners know about what I'm about to tell them. Namely, that after the Cold War ended, billionaire Lawrence Rockefeller, who's a friend of the Clintons, on March the 29th of 1993, approached the administration with a letter to Dr. John Gibbons, the head of the Office of Science and Technology Policy, same one, requesting that he be able to meet with the president, send a letter to the president with the intention of getting Bill Clinton to start releasing all of the UFO files in our agency and military services, as well as reopening the investigations and getting this thing going again. In other words, Lawrence Rockefeller wanted Bill Clinton to be the disclosure president. This initiative is what we call it, the Rockefeller Initiative, went on for 3 years. There were meetings held up at the JY Ranch, Rockefeller's ranch in Wyoming. Bill and Hillary Clinton met privately with Rockefeller at his ranch in 1995. The people that knew about it and were involved with this initiative included Bill Clinton, President Bill Clinton, First Lady Hillary Clinton, now Secretary of State, his Chief of Staff Leon Panetta, recently head of the CIA, now Secretary of Defense, John Podesta, his key advisor and Chief of Staff, who became the transition chair for the Obama administration after the election, and is one of the most important advisors in the Democratic Party. Former Governor Bill Richardson, friend of the Clintons, Albert Gore. These are the people that knew about this. None of these individuals have ever spoken publicly about this initiative, said a word, or have they been asked a single question by the press. Such is the nature of the truth embargo. Well, guess what? In 2000, Canadian researcher Grant Cameron filed a Freedom of Information Act request of the OSTP, requesting everything from that period regarding Rockefeller, UFOs, ETs, the works, and surprise, surprise, got back 1,000 pages of documents confirming the whole thing. And so what we have now is there's a website up, presidentialufo.com, that has the narrative about all of this, plus all of the documents. All 1,000 of these pages most of them can be downloaded from that site. Plus, 8 years ago, I created a Rockefeller Initiative section at ParadigmResearchGroup.org, my main site, where people, this is primarily for the press, that has a lot of information, but most importantly, it has 173 of the key documents there to be read, thumbnailed, in chronological order, so any member of the press could follow this. Plus, we sent 2 full sets of copies to major newspapers, and they didn't want to touch it. So this thing has been festering for 10 years, since the year 2000, or almost 11 years, and what has happened is we're about to bring it back into play big time, because the Rockefeller Initiative is the focus of the second petition, which reads as follows, right? Oh, hang on a second. Let me come down and read this. This is what is going to go up on the White House website for all to see around the world in 6 days. We petition the Obama administration to immediately investigate UFO ET disclosure efforts during the Clinton administration, the Rockefeller Initiative. The Obama administration has formally stated the U.S. government has no evidence that any life exists outside our planet or that an extraterrestrial presence has contacted or engaged any members of the human race, quote unquote. If true, what was the Clinton's Office of Science and Technology Policy investigating from March of 93 to October of 1996 in concert with billionaire Clinton friend Lawrence Rockefeller? Those who knew and have not spoken publicly of this initiative include Bill Clinton, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, Obama, Transition Chair John Podesta, et cetera, Panetta, Gore, Richardson. And then we have the two links to the documents confirming all of it right there on the petition. This is what goes up on February the 23rd. Let me tell you, Mike, the White House is going to have a really tough time responding to this petition if we get the 25,000 signatures we need.
I don't think there's any doubt that'll happen.
Well, given the media we have, obviously I'm encouraging everybody to sign this. I'm encouraging them to spread the word to their friends on Facebook, MySpace, through their email list, and so forth. But for those that don't understand how this works, it's very simple. The direct link to the petition will be published on February the 23rd, or you can find the petition by going to whitehouse.gov and then going to We the People. You pull up a petition, and it's going to ask you to create an account. And in order to create an account with We the People, you click on it, and you put your first and last name and your email address. You can add your city and state, city and country, because guess what? Anyone in the world can sign. It's not just American citizens. And they send you back an email with a verification link, just like, when you open accounts with banks and stuff, and a password. You use the password, click the verification link, go back, use the password, enter, log in, and then you can sign the petitions you want to sign from that point forward.
And at that point, we'll pick up when we come back. That's a fabulous point. Easy to get to, easy to sign. Everybody ought to be doing it. Stay with us. And so the question is, ladies and gentlemen, very simply, do you want the government to acknowledge what it already knows, that we've had visitations from other planets, extraterrestrials from elsewhere in this universe? Stephen Bassett, the UFO lobbyist, is here, and he's got a petition that's going to be going up February 23rd at the White House website so that everybody can sign that, get 25,000 signatures. So the White House has to respond to that point. Stephen, is there any doubt in your mind that we had visitations, for example, near Roswell, New Mexico in 1947?
Roswell was an alien spacecraft that crashed. There may have been actually two other crashes at the same time. Those that have any lingering doubts, read the recent book Witness to Roswell by Carey and Schmidt. Overpowering, absolutely overpowering. We got a couple hundred witnesses have been engaged one time or another on this. It was an alien spacecraft. So consequently, and that's just the beginning. There's a huge amount of evidence confirming the ET presence. The government knows this, but they're not quite ready to end this truth embargo, and so at this point they've taken this hard line. But they're under pressure from other countries. They're under pressure from the movement. And so this petition process may be a tactical error on their part. They may not have realized what could come from it when they did it. I mean, it's a wonderful idea, and there are lots of issues being put up. But this one is an issue all by itself of another kind. So we're going to try to break this open. And the Rockefeller Initiative, I have always felt, was the Achilles heel of the truth embargo because of the people involved. 3 of those people have run for president. One became president, Bill Clinton. They hold extreme positions of power. One of them may yet still become president, and yet they feel it's not important for them to talk about this issue. Plus, they won't even discuss what took place in their own White House under their watch. And this kind of disregard for the public's need to know is simply no longer acceptable, and it's why people are becoming so intensely cynical about American government, why things don't work anymore. If you lie to somebody repeatedly, year after decade, after a while, they just don't care what you think. They don't want to participate in government, and they don't trust what you say, and things just don't go well. So and that's just the beginning. I mean, the reasons, I could spend hours talking about the reasons why disclosure needs to take place. So this petition goes up February 23, and we're going to make a drive to get 25,000 signatures, forcing a response from the White House. But more importantly, as those signatures mount up and the media begins to realize, and they are paying attention, that we are going to reach that threshold and trigger a response from the White House, their interest is going to increase substantially, and they're going to pay attention. They're going to start going to those links that are listed there and reading these documents. And they're going to realize, my God, this happened. And they may start asking questions of the people that we have mentioned here And then, of course, the Obama administration is going to have to somehow respond to this and not look profoundly out of the loop. We could create a media storm, Mike, that might rival the Lewinsky sex scandal. And I'm telling you, when a media storm gets going, when a media feeding frenzy gets underway, there is no power on earth that can stop it. Whether you're the president, whether you're the head of the CIA, nothing. It's like a tsunami, right? And so that's what we're trying to do, and I think it could happen. So let's find out. Let's get those 25,000 signatures. Disclosurepetition.info, the link directly to the petition will go up that morning, mid-morning. And, of course, media coverage will be listed there. YouTube videos are going to be made by people around the world, probably a couple of dozen. Those will be shown there. And then, of course, the petition will reside at the White House website in the We the People section.
Live, this is One for the Record. I'm Diana, and today is April 17th, 2012, Tuesday evening, and here's your updates for today. We'll first go to the watchers, watching the world. A lot of stuff going on that. Fabian Pit, giant sinkhole in Sweden keeps expanding. Ooh. It's huge, and I'm watching all kinds of reports on that. I'm going to see if I can turn the camera around and give you a quick look at it in a few minutes. Mexico's Popocate Pit 2 volcano spewed at least 7 exhalations over the weekend. Millions against Monsanto, the food fight of our lives. Oh, yes. That's your GMO food that we all eat and don't know what we're eating now. Quake expert Geoffrey Marmarinu. Something is wrong. There are too many strong earthquakes. And he's a scientist. Find no explanation to 39 earthquakes that have rocked the world in just the past 2 days. Well, they know something's up, isn't it? A spectacular M1.7 solar flare at northeastern limb. Earth lost contact with Evansat, the largest civilian Earth observation satellite ever to fly into space. Okay. So they lost contact with it. Mariana Trench mapped. New view of the deepest trench. Dust plumes off the Libya coast. Giant dust plumes. North America swelters in March heat. Okay. Lyrid meteor shower peaks this week. Very strong 6.5 earthquake near Valparaiso, Chile. A lot of stuff going on right now. Oh, this is another one. And a couple days ago, which I didn't read, extreme weather in U.S., tennis ball-sized hail in Nebraska, and stunning multi-vortex tornado near Woodward, western Oklahoma. Also, the greatest single threat to humanity. Fukushima nuclear reactor number 4 raises new global worries. Excuse me. Okay, so that's what's going on right now. We'll move on to the Extinction Protocol 2012. What's this? Well, let's see if we can turn this around for you so you can see this. Hold on a minute. I wish I could just get the picture, not this thing to subscribe to, but here you go. I don't know if you can see it. Do you see the trees? I'll back up a little bit. Wow, this is crazy. Look how huge. That's just huge, huge hole. It's going to change. The picture will be outdated soon. But it's on more than one channel, so here we go. It's gone viral. Okay. And April 16th, this was yesterday, World Earthquake sign warned the planet could be cracking up after a series of massive quakes in just the last 2 days. So, and earthquakes are earthquakes destabilizing tectonic plates across the globe. Yeah, I think they're, I don't know, we're getting closer to December 21st, 2012. Heads up with that pole shift. I guess if all the plates get destabilized, we're going to flip around a little bit. Moderate 5.5 earthquake and aftershocks rattle southern Greece. So you got 5.5, 4.8, 4.7 in Greece. And in Russia's Sivolach volcano spews ash up to 9,500 meters, which is 31,000 feet. Its most powerful eruption this year. And again about the 6.7 magnitude earthquake strikes Las Paz, Chile. And that's the news update for today. Let's take this off so I can't even see if I put the camera back right. I guess I did. Alrighty then. Now, it's 2 days down, 3 to go before the weekend. I did attach, as you could see when you first started the video, I put some on the front. All I can do is drop and load. That's how, I'm having big problems with the editor. I cannot shorten any videos. Can't shorten my vids. If anyone has any knowledge on this new system, there are no pairs of scissors, so all I can do is drop and smash together. So we have some variety here and some scenes that I want you guys to see and some vids that I want you guys to see and share with you, but I can't shorten them. So I hope you enjoy them. Here's a flashback from one of my shows in 2008. Wow, talk about deja vu prophecy. Yeah, so this is all the way back, I believe, in 2008. I don't think it's 2007. I'm pretty sure it's 2008. It says on it, it's very hard to edit anything, see anything on the new YouTube editor system. So we're going to have to figure something out. Because at least the quality has gone up. Because I'm from the old school, before they had all this technology. So I can kind of like do some things with it. But don't worry, we're going to keep improving the quality as time goes on. It's not a television station. That's too bad. I got rows and rows and rows of my 3/4 inch tapes. I can't even upload those right now. So, you take care, and I'll see you again tomorrow. And stay tuned. Check out some of this stuff I'm attaching. I think you'll like it. Alrighty then. Have a great and wonderful Tuesday evening.
Thanks for clicking on Zeitgeist. I'm Willie Geist. The question of whether or not extraterrestrials have visited our planet has now risen all the way to the White House. Seriously, President Obama is officially and now on the record in denial about UFOs and their alien pilots. As anyone with a copy of the internet can tell you, there have been any number of UFO sightings in this country over the years, and some notable crashes inside our borders, most famously in Roswell, New Mexico in 1947. So the White House on its website has a section called We the People, where citizens can petition the administration online and get a response if they pull together enough signatures. One recent petition at whitehouse.gov read, "Immediately disclose the government's knowledge of and communications with extraterrestrial beings." That one had more than 5,000 signatures. Another petition, this one with 12,000 signatories, reads, "Formally acknowledge an extraterrestrial presence engaging the human race." The White House responded. Phil Larson, with the Office of Science and Technology Policy, wrote in part, "Thank you for signing the petition asking the Obama administration to acknowledge an extraterrestrial presence here on Earth. The U.S. government has no evidence that any life exists outside our planet or that an extraterrestrial presence has contacted or engaged any member of the human race. In addition, there's no credible information to suggest that any evidence is being hidden from the public eye. However, that doesn't mean the subject of life outside our planet is not being discussed or explored." Larson lays out some of the groups studying life off Earth, pointing out that many scientists believe there is life on some faraway planet, but that we humans are unlikely ever to make contact because of the, quote, distance involved. So, the Paradigm Research Group, which sponsored the petitions, unmoved by that, putting out a statement read perhaps only by me, that read, "As expected, it was written by a low-level staffer. The response was unacceptable. Particularly unacceptable when you consider the evidence is right under the nose of the White House. Or should I say, right over the head of the White House. It was the summer of 1952 when a swarm of UFOs famously swooped in over Washington. And it was probably sometime in the summer of 2007 when this video was doctored up on some dude's MacBook and posted on YouTube. But don't take my word for it on the 1952 incident over D.C. Listen to this guy with an authoritative voice in a clip we found somewhere in the depths of the World Wide Web. It's got black and white video and everything.
At 11:40 p.m. on Saturday, July 19, 1952, an air traffic controller at Washington National Airport spotted 7 blips in a corner of the radar scope. They were moving at 100 miles per hour and were heading for the Capitol. No aircraft were known to be in the area. Jet interceptors were scrambled to investigate the UFOs, but within moments, the radar blips had disappeared. When the jets landed, the UFOs returned.
Well, 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 Phil Larson of the White House Office of Science and Technology Policy. Facts and evidence can be an inconvenient thing, can't they? You say you have no credible evidence of extraterrestrial life on Earth. I say you don't have YouTube and a guy with a soothing, deep voice. Expect a new petition on your desk by day's end. That's Zeitgeist for today. I'll be back here soon with much more of the news you cannot use.
Hello, I'm speaking with you from Fort Monroe, Virginia. We're also known as the Gateway to Freedom. We sit right next to a little town called Phoebus, Virginia. Interestingly, they call themselves the Gateway to the New World. Phoebus sits inside of Hampton, Virginia, whose motto is first from the sea, first to the stars. My name is Henry McElroy, Jr., a retiring former state representative from New Hampshire. Thank you for your attention to this brief message concerning the world's interaction with both Earth-based and off-world astronauts. The reason I am making this announcement is in the hopes of encouraging better perspective to all who explore the universe. Therefore, as a result, making a more valuable contribution to humanity for the benefit of all faiths, all races, and all nations. Another reason I am here today is because I believe in the foundational wisdom of our nation, which was laid down by our founding fathers, and because we know that highly advanced knowledge and information can assist human beings in solving various problems, both in current times and in our future. When I was in the New Hampshire State Legislature, I served on the State Federal Relations and Veterans Affairs Committee. It was apparently important that as a representative of the sovereign people who had elected me to this honorable office, that I be updated on a large number of topics related to the affairs of our people and our nation. As I understood it, some of those ongoing topics had been examined and categorized as federal, state, local development, and security matters. These documents related to various topics, some of which spanned decades of our nation's history. One of those recurring topics is the reason I am addressing you this evening. I would like to submit to our nation my personal testimony of one document related to one of these ongoing topics, which I saw while in office serving on the State Federal Relations and Veterans Affairs Committee. The document I saw was an official brief to President Eisenhower. To the best of my memory, this brief was pervaded with a sense of hope, and it informed President Eisenhower of the continued presence of extraterrestrial beings here in the United States of America. The brief seemed to indicate that a meeting between the President and some of these visitors could be arranged as appropriate if desired. The tone of the brief indicated to me that there was no need for concern, since these visitors were in no way causing any harm or had any intention whatsoever of causing any disruption then or in the future. While I can't verify the times or places or that any meeting or meetings occurred directly between Eisenhower and these visitors, because of his optimism in his farewell address in 1961, I personally believe that Eisenhower did indeed meet with these extraterrestrial off-world astronauts. I hope my personal testimony will aid the nation in its quest for continued enlightenment, I am honored to follow in the footsteps of those who have come forward with their personal testimonies, those who deserve the admiration of the American people for sharing their accounts publicly in an effort to elevate our knowledge to a higher understanding of our existence. People such as former astronaut John Glenn, Edgar Mitchell, Gordon Cooper, and Buzz Aldrin, just to name a few. Former Presidents Ronald Reagan and Jimmy Carter. Captain Bill Newhouse of the United States Marine Corps. Lieutenant Colonel John Williams of the United States Air Force. Colonel Philip Corso, Sr. of the United States Army. Commander Graham Bethune of the United States Navy, along with David Hamilton of the Department of Energy, Donna Hare of NASA, and James Coop of the National Security Agency. I would also like to thank the countries of France, Brazil, Britain, Russia, Italy, Denmark, Sweden, Norway, New Zealand, and our neighbor to the north, Canada, Uruguay, and Australia, for also opening their files to the citizens of their countries and allowing them access to information that is so very important to the evolution of humanity. I thank you for allowing me this opportunity to have a small part in doing the same by sharing the information I have given you today. Thank you very much. And I'd like to thank our communications crew for helping us make this happen today. And I'd also like to authorize distribution of this video for anyone who wants to use it for educational purposes. And thank you.
Could I tell you this? I want you to keep in mind there's a principle in film called intermittent motion, in which 24 frames a second gives the illusion of actual fluid motion. Now you're looking at one frame, or in video field, which is similar, of an object that is traveling so fast that that object on one frame is making loops of light, the immense amount of G-force. No living being, unless that we've, and this is back in the 40s that we've taken pictures of this, so unless that we've developed a technology to isolate gravity, which is part of G-force, in the capsule of a ship, and separate it, that this has to be something outside of our world. And it would be stupid to say that out of all the billions of galaxies and planets that we're alone. It would be dumb to say that.
Yes, it would be. I would assume that you wouldn't want to lower our social, the way we look, if we start looking like primitive, living like animals again, because we don't have any food, we're going to fight with each other. Do you really think you want the neighborhood from outside of our world to really see what's going on out here with the wars, with everything else? See, we take for granted that other the other civilizations might stop by here. This might be their vacation spot. You see what I'm saying? And the more we pollute it, and the more we do bad to the planet's going to try to save itself anyway. And whoever the onlookers are going to say, "Oh, look at this." You know, it's just like bugs. You know, like the abduction. How many people played with a bug and like did all kinds of weird things to bugs? We might be bugs to them, and that's why you do people get abducted. They get scientifically, messed with, and it's just like what we do when people when they're kids. They do the same thing to bugs.
I think that there's a reason, legitimately, why the Defense Department is spending 51% of our combined treasury. That there really is an alien threat. Ronald Reagan tried to loosen this up in 1987 before a UN General Assembly speech. I've seen video that has been released and then it disappears about, like something obviously this man made. The space shuttle put out, it shows like reports like a rocket engine, like, and then it would shoot like missiles and it would clip one of these saucers. It was like, I caught that back in '95.
Wow.
And there is a concern of that.
All I have to say, Shane, so instead of worrying about the economy and all this kind of crap, I mean, why are you going to hide? The public's ready for it. You put enough sci-fi movies out there, and and we have sci-fi movies. Everybody's ready for what's going to happen. Now, there's only 2 points. Either the governments are afraid that they're going to lose power because the aliens are going to come and save the people who are being treated wrong, and also leave the planet. Mm-hmm. That might be one thing, right?
Anything's possible.
It could be that. It could be they could be hostile. I don't care what anyone says. They could be hostile on top of everything else. There could be good ones like Nordics or something. I was hearing all these different stories about Nordics and the reptilians, and you have all these reports. I myself, when I was 12, I looked out the window. I thought it was my friend, but it wasn't back in 1968. I yelled out the window, "Hey, Sylvia," and jumped over the fence. But, that was way before sightings and all that. I mean actually in one of those, I think it's not, Miles Ferguson book. I guess he put me in there as an anonymous person. But, okay, so you have the world is coming, there's a planet coming, there's a pole shift coming, the economy's crapping out. I mean, you got all these different ways. So maybe there's going to be war, nuclear war, something. You see what I'm saying? We're at the breaking point no matter what it is, but something is going to happen. So why don't we get our heads together and just try to figure out, not just to save the richest people in the world and put some seeds. You know what I mean? They're putting seeds away. Why don't the hell you start building like bunkers and have like drills in case there is like a tsunami 1,000 feet. You got the Phobos asteroid coming also. There's like 8 different ways. All right.
We will basically, and I respect your opinion. And well, let me just say this, that I don't know about all this other stuff. I don't know. Anything is possible. But I will say this, that the Word of God says that before the cataclysm and the preemptive rise of this Antichrist that would rule the whole world, there would be great turmoils in the world. And this is what my faith propagates. The only 2 politicians that our establishment has given us, there's one thing that has deeply disturbed me, that, that one of them has made a mockery out of the Holy Bible. And McCain, of course, doesn't have the backbone to say, to stand behind the church. I don't know really what alternative that there is anymore other than to come out of this system and live separately from it, and it is really not going to last. It is going to fall. We are going to head into Rome. A depression. These banks are closing.
Like Rome, like Egypt. How are we any different from Egypt, Rome, Atlantis? You see what I'm saying? How are we any different? We've had our heyday, and we better figure something else out.
The American empire is coming to an end.
Well, not necessarily, but it's not going to be totally globalized either. I know that.
I don't know. I'm a pro-American.
It's going to be alienized. We're going to probably have a bunch of aliens come down. Why don't we run, I guess the show's almost over, so why don't we run the last Larry King thing all the way out, and maybe you can roll the credits over it, I don't know, with the soundtrack going, or I don't know if you can do that, if it would get in the way of the credits, but if you could do that, that's fine. But let's have Larry King take us out. Thanks so much.
Thank you
for
having me
your
guest. I appreciate it very much.
Right.
What a great show.
I hope we got through to some people. We will be here again. I think it's next month. I'm not sure when, but I'll try to advertise better. All right, you guys have a good night. Take care. Maybe I'll put this on YouTube so you can watch the rest of it.
Shane Devon's on YouTube too. S-H-A-N-E-D.
Bill?
I don't think they're ready. I think there would be shock, but I think eventually we'd accept it. I think that there is a gradual disclosure going on. I think through science fiction movies, I think through a number of outlets, there is disclosure going on, and I think that is preparing us for what we will eventually come to see as we have people out there that are extraterrestrials, and they're here.
Ted, what do you think? How do you think people would react?
Well, you know, I think I can only base that on the people I've met in the research we've done for the show. And it's just amazing how many people we've come across in our interviews and our case studies who I get to talk to who feel like they've either seen something themselves or a close family member has. It's astonished me at just how prevalent this is in not just American society, but we're over in England, over there as well, and worldwide. So it seems like people, a lot of people think about it, a lot of people believe they may have seen something, and I disagree with Bill. I think people would be ready to hear the truth,
Pat?
Whatever that truth is.
It sounds to me like people are ready. They've had these UFO experiences. They're not having any kind of meltdown. They're able to discuss these experiences with us, and it seems like we're an intelligent species enough to fathom that we are not alone, and I think we can handle it.
So no panic would have result.
Well, I've talked to a lot of people about it, with people who've studied this much longer than I have, and there are theories that people would panic, this would adversely affect the economy, that there would be mayhem in the streets, but I don't know. From the people we're meeting and talking to, people are okay with it.
Bill, we have a short time left. Do you think most people believe there is life elsewhere?
Yes, they do. In fact, I think that in CNN's own poll, 85% of those who responded said that they did believe there was life elsewhere. Whether that life is now here is another story, but they did believe that. I think our government believes that. I think Seth Shostak believes that with SETI. So I think that anybody you speak to would be very arrogant to say there is no other life in the universe. The question is, has that life come here? We believe it has.
Thank you all very much.